Welcome back to Quiziam. Think you have the eyes of a real detective? In today's video, you'll solve 12 brand new mystery puzzles. Each scene hides one tiny clue. Let's see how many you can solve. The first challenge. 3 referees are standing on a soccer field sideline. One of them is a fake referee. Can you figure out who the fake referee is? Time's up. The fake referee is number 2. The whistle held by person 2 has a small crack along its side, revealing the interior is completely empty with no pee inside. A referee's whistle needs an internal pee to actually produce the loud sound required to control a game. Next challenge. 2 young adults are standing in a family living room in front of a framed photo of identical twin children. One of them is an impostor twin. Can you figure out who the impostor twin is? Time's up. The imposter twin is person B. Person B has one brown eye and one subtly lighter hazel eye, which mismatches the identical brown eyes shown on both twins in the family photo. True identical twins share the exact same genetic eye color, making this a clear biological mismatch. Next challenge. A judge is seated at the bench in a courtroom with a gavel resting nearby. We need to figure out if this judge is honest. Can you figure out if the judge is honest? Time's up. The judge is not honest. Where the gavel's wooden sound block meets the desk, a thin edge of folded cash is visible pressed just beneath it. Hiding money directly under an official legal tool is a classic sign of taking a bribe to influence a ruling. Next challenge. 3 tour guides are standing near a painting in a museum gallery. One of them is a fake guide who doesn't know the history. Can you figure out who the fake guide is? Time's up. The fake guide is person A. The small engraved placard behind person A reads, circa 1950, which directly contradicts the historical claim they are making about the painting. A real museum guide would know the exact historical dates of the exhibits they are presenting. Guides B and C listening attentively are just doing their jobs. Next challenge. An elegant wine tasting event is taking place, and a small, unmarked vial is lying knocked over near the back counter. One of the 3 staff members poisoned the wine. Can you figure out who poisoned the wine? Time's up. The poisoner is staff member number 2. Person 2's sleeve has a faint discolored smear near the wrist that matches the exact color of the residue inside the knocked-over vial. Transferring chemical residue from a vial onto clothing is a direct physical link to the poison. Staff member 1's wine stain on the cuff might look alarming, but it is just from routine pouring. Next challenge. 4 guests are mingling in an elegant hotel lobby near a grand staircase. One of them is secretly an undercover bodyguard. Can you figure out who the bodyguard is? Time's up. The bodyguard is person D. Tucked just beneath person D's slightly raised collar is a thin, coiled earpiece wire, barely visible against their skin tone. Wearing a covert communication earpiece is standard equipment for a security detail protecting a VIP. Next challenge. A detective is questioning a painter in an art studio at night. The painter claims he was painting the canvas all night. Can you figure out if he is telling the truth? Time's up. The painter is lying. The paint on the canvas has a dry, slightly cracked texture, which is consistent with having been applied and dried over a much longer period than a single night. Fresh paint applied just hours ago would still have a wet sheen and would not be cracked. Next challenge. A cluttered detective's office is filled with stacked case files, coffee cups, a typewriter, and evidence boards. A small brass key is hidden somewhere in this messy room. Can you find the hidden key? Time's up. The hidden key is resting inside the shadowed handle of the coffee cup on the desk, blending perfectly with the curve of the handle. Did you spot it before the time ran out? Next challenge. A royal crown is resting on a purple velvet cushion inside a dim museum display case. 4 people are standing near the case, but one of them switched the real crown with a fake. Can you figure out who switched the crown? Time's up. The person who switched the crown is number 4. A single thin purple velvet thread is caught in the narrow gap of person 4's folded sleeve cuff. Brushing up against a velvet display cushion inevitably leaves tiny fibers on clothing, proving physical contact with the case. Don't be fooled by person 2 wearing a purple scarf. It is just an unrelated fabric. Next challenge. 3 boats are docked at a marina at dusk, with rippling water reflections. One of these boats is completely fake. Can you figure out which boat is fake? Time's up. The fake boat is number 1. If you trace the reflection carefully through the ripple pattern, the life ring's reflected shape is entirely absent rather than just distorted by the water. A real object docked in the water must cast a continuous reflection, even if broken up by ripples. Next challenge. 3 framed paintings are hanging on a dim gallery wall, each with a small engraved plaque mounted beneath it. One of these paintings is a fake masterpiece. Can you figure out which painting is fake? Time's up. The fake painting is number 2. The plaque beneath painting 2 is off-center by only a few millimeters and tilted at a barely perceptible angle. A genuine museum installation requires perfect alignment, so a crooked plaque indicates a hastily hung forgery. Painting 3 hanging at a very faint tilt might draw the eye, but its plaque is correctly aligned. Next challenge. An open, empty file cabinet drawer and a broken blue security seal are lying on the floor of a research office. 4 people are standing in the office, but one of them stole the file. Can you figure out who stole the file? Time's up. The person who stole the file is number 4. A tiny fragment of blue seal material is caught in the narrow gap where person 4's coat collar is folded. Breaking a security seal to access a locked drawer inevitably scatters tiny fragments onto the intruder's clothing. Person 2 having ink stains on their fingers might appear suspicious, but it is just from an unrelated pen leak. Well done! How many puzzles did you solve? Tell us your score in the comments. If you enjoyed the challenge, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you're ready for the next round of brain teasers. See you in the next video.